Are you living your own life? Or are you living someone else's? Now, I'm not been trying to be cheeky or facetious or anything like that. And those of us who are my age, those of you who are within my age group between 40 to 60, that are you living an authentic, genuine life, the life that you chose, or is the life that somebody else has chosen for you, or you were forced, perhaps unconsciously, but nevertheless you are here, and something inside is protesting, something inside is telling you that this is not right. Perhaps a dream, or perhaps you wanted to do something else. Have you asked that question of yourself? I don't know, but it came to me a few years ago, and I battled with that for a few years, and through getting some help, counseling, and continue doing that. But as I am going through the journey of what we call life, it's interesting to understand and appreciate that my life belongs to me. It's my life, no one else's. I get to live it the way I want to live it. And I just want to put that question to you. Are you living your own authentic life? Are you doing what makes you happy? Are you living a meaningful life? Whatever that means to you. I've come across a few people who have expressed the desire to change their life circumstances, if it's job, if it's a social setting, different living arrangements, if it's in a relationship, they want to change or they want to get out of it. Nevertheless, it's one of those questions, existential questions, that halfway through life we get to ask if we are lucky. We get to ask so that we can live more fulfilling life in the second half of our lives. So I'm asking you that question. I don't have any answers for you. I have only answers for me, perhaps even a half an answer for me. I'm still looking. But I do know that I have taken steps to do what I think it's right for me and no one else's. And I'm happy about that. I'm very unburdened by it. And it's not an easy thing to do. It's a hard thing to do, but I've done it. I've sacrificed few things to gain more important, more meaningful thing. I hope you find this helpful. I hope that my journey, my thoughts that I share with you resonates in one form or another, so that you can have a more honest look at your own life and do what is necessary to be the best version of yourself. I do not by any means encourage anyone to think hastily or do something without any planning, but having said that, you do need to get moving, because time is of an essence. I'm 54, and I know for a fact, unless someone is out there can tell me otherwise, that I have less sunrises ahead than I just went through in the last 54 years. And I'm okay with that. But what I am not okay is to live unfulfilling life, live a life of misery or mediocrity, live a life that is not mine, is someone else's, programmed by someone else. And when I say someone else, it's genuinely, I mean that. It's just, we are a product of our upbringing, environment, social construct that we create. And for most of us, parents are a huge part of that. We love our parents. They did the best that they could. But having said that, at the same time, we were influenced by them in their strength and with their inadequacies. And for some part was okay, was great, and some part was not. Unless we were some of those lucky people that we had perfect parents, which that doesn't really exist. And then on top of that, we go to school, and then we have to please our teachers and adults around us, and then we have to try to fit in a group. If you're a teenage girl, teenage boy, and there's another complexities there that you try and put another masks on and fit in. All of that is life that is not ours. It's not mine. It was not mine. So it's time. It was time for me to shed that and tear it apart, and then completely shatter it, and then trying to piece back the pieces, and hopefully with a more intentional directive, with a more intentional feeling that what it is that means to have my own life, and as imperfect as it can be, but to me that's how it is, and I like that, and being genuine, honest, it's the important thing for me, and it has become that. At the same time, I encourage everybody to look at the essence of humanity. What is that essence of humanity? The essence of humanity is very, very provocatively put it, that the life, an unexamined life, is not worth living. So an authentic life is you examine your own existence, why you're here, what is your purpose, and is there any purpose to that? And if you ask that question over and over again, it will come to you at one point, and I believe that it does. And not only I, but throughout my studies of many gurus and in the field of psychology and philosophy, time and time again, one of those common themes that shows up is that the soul at one point protests and withdraws its support in a way that's very obvious, and you know that more than anybody else. You wake up in the morning, you do the same thing over again, you ask yourself why you're unhappy, and you continue doing the same thing, and you keep asking yourself why you're unhappy, and that is a sign right there. That is a total sign. You may end up blaming the job, blaming the partner, blaming the kids, blaming the dog, the cat, the parrot, blaming the rain, the sun, the sky, blaming the ocean, the mountains, whatever that is. At the end of the day, your ego is trying to come up with a reasoning that you're feeling crappy because and you're feeling down, you're feeling depressed because of all of these external things. But the truth is that the big self, the capital S, the inside, the soul, your psyche, is drawing its approval and is giving you signs. And the idea is to listen to that, to really listen to that, and see if you can do anything with that. And you have to sit with that. You have to accept certain things, and then go back on the drawing board and find out what it is that it got you where you are. And if it turns out that it's all patterns, and sometimes you have to do that on your own, sometimes, most of the time, you have to find a certain help, either through counseling or good friends or whoever that you can resonate with. However, you got to be careful with that as well. But regardless of how you reach out, you do need to do some deep self-reflection and rewrite your history, in a sense that how it has organized your life the way it has so far. And I can guarantee you that it will be a shocking exercise, very, very painful, but the most meaningful you could ever do. And the liberation that you get from that, you will never have it any other way. At least that is my journey, and I didn't believe it. I read about it, and I read thousands of research papers and articles, and read many biographies, and stories of many people, thousands of people, and they all seem the same. They go on the same path again, and then they all agree. It's a journey that is not for the faint of hearts, for sure. But I'd rather do that journey than the journey that I was programmed to do, which was not very meaningful. I didn't know what I was doing. More like a robot. I'm getting up in the morning, doing the same routine every day, going to the same place every day, doing the same job every day. Perhaps in a sense that my reaction to what I was doing was not as meaningful as I needed to be, even though in my heart I really enjoyed what I was doing. I've been a teacher for a long time. But then I realized that, is that really what I needed to do? Or maybe it had burned its flame long ago, and I don't have that anymore, and I need something new. I don't know what it was, but after existential crisis that happened in my life, through divorce and separation after 28 years, I realized that something has to change. So that something has to change in me, not outside, in me. I am the only common denominator here. And I felt that I needed to do whatever I can. And when I say whatever I can, I did that in a genuine way, where I remember one of my counselors mentioned that it's amazing that most people, when they go through hardship, they do whatever they can to distract the pain inside. And that could be through many variety of ways, jumping around a relationship, partying, becoming workaholic, alcoholic, getting into drugs, substance abuse, and many other forms of addiction of any kind that you can think of, right? From exercises to leaving the country and going around the world, whatever the distraction it is that can give you that relief of not thinking and not sitting with your own thoughts. But then the problem is this: the problem is that when you finish all of that, and as you think that you're gone, and then you leave your troubles behind, well, as you leave, the trouble is with you. It's like a suitcase you're carrying. You open up a suitcase, here you are. And as John Kabat-Zinn said, wherever you go, you're there. And that's true. And for me, that was the beginning of a new life, a life of meaning, a life of purpose. First was the fact that why I have been the way I have been. I needed to know that. I needed to know why I have been the way I have been. And once I knew what was the reasoning behind it, I started to do whatever I could to try to not necessarily fight it and get rid of it, because it's with me, it's within me. I can't do that. But what I have done, I try to live with it without allowing it to control me, to be me, what it was before it was me. So I try every day to become more aware of that. And it's not a diagnosis where you do something and you fix yourself and then you're done. No, it's a lifelong. You have to accept that. You have to accept that, just like any other complexities and addiction that you can think of. If you drop your guards down, you can go back to your original programming. But the more you practice the new programming, the software becomes the hardware, and the hardware is habits and your behavior, and your reaction or responses will form. But it's always there. You have to be very aware, be cautious of your thoughts, and be aware of that, and awareness of that awareness. And I mean that without any cliche of any kind. Awareness of the awareness is the key, where oftentimes most people fail, and I fail all the time as well. But the idea is that The moment you become aware, and when let's say in a day I go through a day and certain things happens and I react, and then at night when I do my meditation, I will think back of the day and the things that has happened, and the ones that I remember, and they were profound or not, doesn't matter, but anything that I do remember, and I would ask myself why I reacted that way. And if I reacted inappropriately, I make a note that, oh, by the way, and why did I do that? Oh, the original programming, past programming kicked in. The ego took over. For whatever reason, I had to defend my title. I had to defend this. I had to make sure the other person could understand why I say what I say, or whatever the reasoning was. And I realized that, oh, it was just my ego. It was not coming from the self, the capital S, my psyche, my conscious, my unconscious level, where all the good things happening and awareness can be. And then I look at some other things that I've done positively, and not reacted, and took my time, and I just make a note of that, and I go on from there. What I like to ask is one question. What is it that you can think of about yourself that you do, or you've done today, or yesterday, or a couple hours ago, or that you always do, that is not sitting well with others, and it's not even sitting well with you, but you pretend that it's all good? What is that one thing? And then I need you to take a look at that and say, why do you do the same thing that you do? And then come up and keep digging, and find out the reasoning behind it. And I need you to be honest with yourself, because there's nobody else. This is my journey. I'm just sharing this with you. But at the end of the day, if you are honest with yourself, that's the number one, the first thing, the very foundational step into self-healing, into creating a meaningful life for yourself that is beyond the five senses. It's within you. No one can deny it or question it. It's just you, and you don't have to prove it to anybody either. But you do need to be honest with yourself, and that honesty will be a factor in your development and your spiritual growth and in your emotional growth. And when I say spiritual, I mean anything that is beyond your grasp or understanding in terms of the five senses, right? We have this brain is limited. We have the five senses limited, but we do know that this world is beyond that. So ask that question, and I hope to see you guys again. Be well.